Hi guys, Garth here from DCS Hacks. Today we're going to take a little look at charts. We're going to start by creating a flight plan that starts at Nellis and heads out towards Fallon. I'm using a wonderful utility called SimBrief to do all my flight planning today. Just checking all the information that I've put in is correct, including the start time of the flight, arrival and departure runways, There are multiple flight plans to choose from, but today I'm going to choose a direct route to Fallon pretty much as the crow flies. So if I'm happy with that, I'll set up a flight plan. There we go, looking good. Just going to check the numbers. Depart arrival time, aircraft type, cruise altitude, block fuel, and of course the routing. Time to file a flight plan. So here we are in Navigraph. I'm just about to import my flight plan from SimBrief, and with a bit of luck it'll give me all the necessary charts for the flight today. So I'm going to zoom into the big picture. I'm not going to concern myself too much today with the arrival at Fallon, so I'm just going to concentrate on the departure from Nellis. The magenta dotted line is our route, and we have to choose our actual departure route. I'm going to select our departure runway as 21 left, and we have two options for departure. Mormon Mesa 7, which takes us a lot further away from our fuzzy fix, or the Dream 6, which I think we're going to choose today. Going to zoom into Nellis, see where we are, indicated by a ping arrow. So here's the airport chart for Nellis. As you can see, we've got quite a way to go until we get to runway 21 left. Useful information is the runway headings, the length of the runways, and the alphabetically arranged taxiways, which are quite useful for navigating your way around. At the top of the chart are frequencies. The first one we're going to concentrate on is ATIS, Automatic Terminal Information Service. So here we are on stand at Nellis, and the first thing we're going to do is dial in the ATIS frequency, which today is 270.1.
Wind from 258 at 16 knots, gusting. Visibility 10. Few clouds. Cloud base 8,200. Ceiling 1,700 feet. Temperature 8 degrees Celsius. -1 degrees Celsius. Altimeter QNH 2980, QFE 2787 inches of mercury. Active runway 21 left. Power frequency 327 megahertz. 132.550 megahertz. ILS frequency 109.10 megahertz. Packing channel 1-2 X-ray. Quebec. Information, Quebec.
At this point, we will check in with Nellis clearance on 120.9 with Information Quebec, asking for IFR clearance to NAS Fallon. Now the 8 has had lots of really useful information like QNHs, active runways, ILS frequencies, TACAN frequencies, and as soon as something changes they will use the next letter on the alphabet, in this case Romeo. So clearance will say contact ground on 121.8 and I'll switch frequency at that point. So here we are on the west edge of the main apron. We're dialed into Nellis ground on 121.8. We just asked for permission to taxi. The ground control will then come back with something like clear to taxi runway 21 left via Foxtrot Echo, hold short at Echo 1. At that point we will need clearance to cross runway 21 right and then hold short at the threshold to runway 21 left. Ground will then hand us over to tower on 132.55, at which point we will state that we are ready for departure. So just a quick overview of the Dream 6 departure plate. So up on the top left we've got the departure frequency of 135.1. Black lines are headings, usually a vector from a particular TACAN. And blue text is very important relating to altitude limits. 5,000 with a blue line underneath it means that you cannot be below 5,000 feet. Similarly, 6,000 with a blue line above it means that you cannot be above 6,000 feet. Lastly, at the bottom of the page are some useful guidelines for each departure option available. As we're using the 21 left departure, we need to bear right until we hit the 349 radial, steering 7.5 miles north of Las Vegas and not being below 5,000 or above 6,000 on that intercept. So here we are after receiving our takeoff clearance from tower, departing on runway 21 left. Bearing right after departure, staying at least 7.5 miles north of Las Vegas before intercepting the 349 radial between 6,000 and 5,000 feet. Once we intercept the 349 radial, tower will hand us over to Nellis departures on 135.1 and we'll remain on this 349 radial until we hit mint at around 38 miles, somewhere between 17,000 feet and flight level 190. So a quick review of an approach plate now. So we're approaching Nellis and the first thing a pilot will probably do is tune into ATIS to see what the weather's doing. Once we make contact with the approach controller, we can use the term with information Quebec Alpha or Hotel or whatever it may be, and to let them know that we've listened to the transmission and that we're aware of all conditions that affect our approach to Nellis. All other stuff's quite similar to the departure plate really, altitudes, bearings, headings, references to TACANs and things like that. And at the bottom of the page they give you a really nice section with altitudes and distances that you need to achieve for a first class approach. On this plate, the most important numbers for me are at 7.3 miles at 4,200 feet is what's known as the top of the drop, where you start your 3-degree glide slope descent down to the threshold of the runway. At this point you're normally on tower frequency and waiting for landing approval. One last thing guys, the decision altitude box is invaluable if you like doing low visibility approaches. Just set your radar altimeter to the number in this box. As soon as the alarm goes off, if you haven't got visuals of the runway yet, then it's time to execute a missed approach. Just climb gently and turn onto a heading of 028 and intercept the 358 radial until you reach Arco, and then it begins again. Well guys, I hope somebody's found this useful, and if you managed to stay the course until this point, well done. Charts aren't for everybody, but for some of us out there it really adds to the level of immersion. If you want to take it to the next level, have all the frequencies for all the controllers on a sequence preset so you can switch to them whenever you need to. Anyway guys, I'll see you up there. Have a great one. Bye bye.